Hello everyone, it is IT Chill here. Today I want to talk about this long topic which was shown in the screen at the moment. When we talk about specialization and generalization, perhaps people talk about it on a surface level. In modern world, subjectively speaking or through what can be observed, that happens to emphasize more on generalization instead of specialization, but this comes with drawbacks. Let's say a company has an IT department. 25% of the employees are programmers or software developers. 25% of the employees are focusing on troubleshooting the devices of all the IT equipment within the company. The rest of 50% of the employees are IT experts that mainly helps to set up and configure devices like, for example, servers and networks. With an assumption that there is only an IT manager, he or she has to deal with the staffs within the company. Do the manager really understand all aspects of the listed fields? At most, the manager could only understand all aspects but on a very surface level. However, let's say the programmers or developers encounter serious issues to a point that the agreed in-house system has to be delayed, or even worse, could not work or has serious bugs. Whose fault does this belong to? Is it the programmers? Is it the IT manager? The actual objectively true truth is perhaps all the parties involved, which also includes the boss and upper management. Companies or managers will want to save costs on hiring talents, but in a lot of cases, could the cost be really saved? In these situations, the cost only doubled or tripled because of delayed or failed in-house system development. Companies would want talents that could help them in these situations, but the requirements or the skills that they listed, often the case, is absurd. The requirements they listed in these extreme cases could only be fulfilled by specialized experts, but this goes against the skills of generalized talents. This kind of situation happens quite often pre-Industrial Revolution 5. There's really none to blame for such a disastrous result. The current structures of companies could only work when such cases do not really happen or occur. But again, who can ensure such cases do not happen? Starting from Industrial Revolution 5, from my humble opinion without really going deeply into the IR, upper management and manager position may still be required, but it will be largely replaced by AI or robotics or advanced tech. By using similar concept, portions of software developers and programmers could also be replaced if their work belongs to using generalization or has a similar concept to those of management position or belongs to highly repetitive work. One of the main direction which is still in draft is AI plus advanced tech and humans work together peacefully and harmoniously. But is it really as simple as it sounds? I may find some time to talk specifically on automation and IR5 in the future. Any speech that I speak on automation and IR5 Please to bear in mind I am not an expert and may have subjective opinion and biases. This video will be focusing on the bar of human as indicated by the mobile game named Lapse, which describes a niche specialization fate before IR5. When we talk about a specialization, the most common form and understandable specialization is perhaps artists and chess masters. What I may be speaking later perhaps will trigger audience discomfort. If you choose to proceed, you agree to this warning. Do you happen to know the chess grandmaster that died, named Bobby Fischer? Do you happen to know the artist that died, named Van Gogh? You may see some ironies and sarcasm towards their lives. There may be a lot of perception in why Van Gogh died, but the most common perception in which he dies consists of lack of support, and his skills, experience and techniques in drawing could not be understood at all by his peers. If he receives lots of support and receives enough attention, will he be living for a lot longer? This is a question that is not really worth to discuss anymore, as he did die from either suicide or intentional murder. Bobby Fischer shares some similar characteristics from Van Gogh, and it is still considered to be a relatively modern era extra character. If these two characters did manage to go through this hellish experience in actually becoming a grandmaster in their niche domain and acknowledged by the public, will the world be different? Will the art that we have now have even greater advancements? Will there be more advancements in chess? These are questions that can no longer be answered. What is past is a past history. However, the irony is that history always repeats itself. In modern era, there happens to be a computer programmer expert named Terry A. Davis. He invented Temple OS, his own operating system, Holy C, his own programming language, and Holy C's own compiler. These feats are amazing given that what I assume is him doing the work alone. These folks that I stated do not really harm the society in any ways. Their presence and absence could only be described as the society was never meant for them to stay or work. Does history repeat itself? Yeah. And in modern day, on top of the suffering of potentially niche specialization that happens to have a mix of the issues stated in the movie named The Green Book, combined with the issues that experienced by these folks. This is why, in my humble opinion, without really knowing IR5 at a deeper level, its existence is to aid or ease the situation by emphasizing the needs of such individuals. It may not be new to the audience that there are two TV shows named Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Although they are fictional characters, but they deliver meanings that people seem to be able to understand. These two shows show that our reality, or how the real world operates, in a lot of cases, it is not exactly black and white, but rather it is grey. Some may find it difficult to understand, some may find it easy to understand. Let us use Breaking Bad as an example. Let's use the same storyline as the show indicated. He was first introduced that he initially was in the domain that he gets recognized a lot. However, as he sees no success from the company he was in, he leaves the company, sold his shares. The irony starts immediately after he leaves the company. The company then becomes a company that worth a lot in net worth. He has resentments to the company, and ultimately, this is the initial morphing that causes him to be the bad guy he was known in the series. He tries to cover for his family's financial situation by becoming a chemist teacher at a certain school. Before he diagnosed with cancer, he's already struggling in the school. He does not feel satisfied to his job. His profession was not appreciated, be it by the school teachers or the students. He is struggling to meet monthly end meets for his family. He has deep resentments towards the company he is previously in. These situations only become worse when he gets diagnosed with cancer and have to deal with very expensive cancer bills that was billed to his account monthly. Under these circumstances, he remembered methamphetamine is potentially a good product that can aid him from leaving the miseries he is in. You can find a similar case with Better Call Saul. Things that seem to be okay to a lot of people, or even in normal specialized domain folks, are a killer to these people. Some may argue that it is the fault of the society into turning what seemed to be a good human into a bad human, or in this case Lucifer. Some may argue that it is not the fault of society, but rather it is their own fault. There is again no objectivity in this case. They try to be honest, or at least portrayed in the TV show. They try to change professions, try to find jobs that they feel satisfied about. In most cases, or at the least what I feel is the case to niche specialized folks, it is a gamble that they don't really know whether it can success. How one defines niche specialization in a lot of cases again is purely subjective. Should an individual gone through the Lucifer effects, they will only harm the society and their surrounding. But in a lot of cases, people focus on the results, but not the process and potential root causes. I have a lot to say, but in order for such a world to exist, perhaps the current founding blocks of society and job market have to be shattered and remade. This may shatter a lot of people's dreams towards the future and potentially threaten the current experts or professionals that don't really fall under the niche specialization categories. Now you have it. You now can understand why niche specialization issue, if left unchecked, could be a threat or a serious issue to any society that governs by governments. As for why I know so clear on these stuffs, I will leave it for you to discover by your own. That's it for this video. Thank you very much.